Hello everyone, Mohammad Aoun here, back with the next video. And in the first video, I covered the overview of outbound sales engine for Oracle consulting services. So block diagram level basis, understanding of the data scraping process, the email sending, LinkedIn prospecting, and what you can expect as a throughput or output of that process. And then next, I covered about segmenting campaigns by Oracle product versus domain versus account-based marketing versus selling your SaaS products on top of Oracle install base, so on and so forth. Now, when it comes to actually doing the outreach, we have to understand which channels we are going to use to do the outreach because it has huge impact on the costs, the process, the team required, the skill set required, and above all, what you can expect out of that. Okay, so the two channels that we are going to be using, or I'm going to be demonstrating or explaining in depth, is our email marketing versus LinkedIn prospecting, right? So we should be able to assess the potential of each of these, and hence this video is going to cover all of that. So on a very high level basis, we need to understand that what we can expect if we go with the email marketing approach versus LinkedIn prospecting approach. And depending upon your strategy, obviously both channels are effective and they do produce the results. It's just that the process is different, the skill set is different, the team that you require will be different to run these. So if we do a high level comparison of email marketing versus LinkedIn prospecting, one thing we really need to understand is that email marketing in essence is much more scalable. And the reason for that is that if you buy more accounts of HubSpot, if you buy more accounts of Salesforce CRM or Instantly or MailChimp, whichever email outreach platform you are using or planning on using, you can buy more and more accounts of those and actually send out more number of emails. And the more emails you send out, the more responses, leads, or projects you can get out of the process, right? So it is more scalable. Now, if you compare that to LinkedIn prospecting, LinkedIn only allows you to send out 200 connection requests per week from a single paid LinkedIn account. So if you have to scale it, then obviously you need more legitimate or actual profiles of LinkedIn on which you can run this activity. But again, it is only limited to 200 people per week, which is not that much if you have to do outreach on large volumes of data. As you know, each of the companies in the Oracle space has thousands of employees. So your prospecting list could be hundreds of people from, let's say, a couple of tens of accounts that are using Oracle applications. So for larger data volumes, we need scalability, and hence email marketing is more effective. But that said, if we look at the other aspects, ready outreach. So you can readily do outreach to companies. So if you send out email today, you can get it into their inbox without any blocker, right? So that is the outreach is ready to be done. But on the LinkedIn side, you have to wait till the person becomes your first degree connection before you can actually take them forward in the conversation. There's also some in mails, but they're very expensive and very limited. So if for larger purposes, you are only constricted by the first degree connections, and hence it is a little bit limiting as compared to the email marketing side. Now, if you look at the effort to run these engines, email marketing for sure is much more complex. And there's a constant effort that you need to put into that process to ensure that the process keeps on working. But if you talk about, for example, on the other hand, LinkedIn, it offers you guaranteed messaging delivery. So if you look at, for example, email marketing, Google and Office 365 and all of these mail services providers are constantly checking for spamming, and hence there's a constant effort that needs to go into the engine to make sure that your not emails are not landing in spam. So you have those KPIs and tracking and different variables that you need to constantly monitor to ensure that your emails are being opened up, are clicked at, are landing in inbox rather than promotions or spam folder. So a lot of effort needs to go into that part. While on the other hand side, if you are doing LinkedIn prospecting, once a person becomes your first degree connection, then you can directly talk to them. So there's no effort to further maintain the infrastructure per se. So I've covered the spam and domain issues, and domain healths are constantly being monitored by Google and these mail services providers because a lot of people also do tremendous amounts of spamming and they want to kind of hinder that. So they are constantly looking into such things. Now, if you look at the email marketing, it is definitely more costly because you need paid data sources from which you can extract the data, and then you need to warm up your domains. For that there's different tools. For then you need to send out email blasts to CRM systems and or the email outreach systems. They also have a certain cost, and then you manage those leads in CRMs because there's different accounts that you're using to send out the emails. So it is more costly from a tools perspective. But if you look at LinkedIn, obviously you just need your LinkedIn account, and 99% people working in the IT industry specifically have their LinkedIn account. So all you need is like one paid sales navigator account and you're good. You don't need further tools, etc. On the email marketing side, there's tons of automations that you can use. So automations for data scraping, automations for sending follow-ups, automations to track the email open up and send them relevant follow-up message. All of that can be automated. There's tons of tools for that, and I will talk about that, all of this at length. But if you talk about LinkedIn prospecting, it is not advised at all to use any type of automation because your account could get blocked. And LinkedIn is very, very strict on that. And I mean, I've talked to tons of companies that have got their LinkedIn profiles blocked just because they were using tons of automation tools. And there are several automation tools that claim that their platform does not get the profiles blocked, but there's always a risk for that. LinkedIn is really, really cracking down on those. So it is highly recommended not to use automations on LinkedIn prospecting site. And plus, if you're just targeting 200 profiles, you can have like one person who just sits down and manually sends the message. It's not very difficult to do as compared to doing email marketing. Let's say if you were to manually send emails to 5,000 people per day, that is not possible. But 200 connections across 1 week is pretty manageable. So you don't really need automations in the first place as well. If your lists are highly personalized and you exactly know who you're targeting. The next part is the Google and Office 365 infra setup. I've spoken about that, warming up domains, maintaining the domain health, sender ID health, infrastructure, CRM setup, integrating your CRM systems with your email, sending tools, and then managing GoDaddy accounts. All of that is a lot of hassle, which if you are new to this, you're going to definitely need some ramp up before you can efficiently do that. But on the LinkedIn prospecting side, obviously there's no setup. It's just your LinkedIn profile and you're just talking to your first degree connections. So no issues there. Uh, Email marketing is easier to manage in CRMs because there's tons of integrations available between different tools that are used for email marketing. So you can manage those in CRMs. While on LinkedIn prospecting, it is not very friendly, and there's a whole process that I personally have built how to manage lists of accounts, how to manage the list of prospects, how to track in notes and all of that within LinkedIn. It is still not very elaborate as compared to some of the other email marketing platforms that are available. So generally speaking, you could find some issues when you're doing LinkedIn prospecting consistently that you are kind of how to track those leads. So it is still a little bit limiting on that part. And then email marketing is multi-step process. So the data scraping is a whole different ball game as compared to running campaigns. And then running campaigns specifically, if you're using Multiple CRM accounts can be a little challenging as well. There's multiple steps to that. How do you remove data that you've already reached out, because you're reaching out to so much of data at one go? So it becomes more and more laborious work and manual work that needs to go into that. It's a multi-step process in that sense. And then sending out follow-up campaigns, then leads could have like multiple statuses. Some are future interest, some are not interested. Actually, there's tons of people that are not responding. How do you reach out to them? All of that is a multi-step process. And then on LinkedIn side, it's pretty simple because it's just one inbox in which you get all the messages whenever you get a reply. And then anything that you need to do, you go to that inbox and from there you can do it. So there's no real complexity of managing CRMs, importing leads from another source into LinkedIn, so on and so forth, because all of that data is already in LinkedIn. You just build a list, you do outreach. Once the connection is built, you just start your conversation. So it's simpler as compared to email marketing. Then email marketing, you definitely need a team required because you have to scrape data from paid sources. You have to sanitize the data, titles, the company names, the people, the number of people that you're reaching out per company, to remove the duplicates from your previous campaigns to make sure that you're not doing outreach to the same people over and over again, constantly marking people not interested or unsubscribes and maintaining all of that. You need a team for that. And then once the leads come in, then you have to convert them into appointments. So it's a whole different skill set. The email sending itself is a big area where you need to set up email accounts and then warm them up and then manage those multiple email accounts. So that takes definitely multiple resources to actually run that. But if you're doing LinkedIn prospecting, it can pretty much be done by single one person yourself, or you can just assign your profile to somebody on the sales and business development side who can actually do that for you. So this should set up or put you, give you like a foundations of, if you're exploring whether to go on the email marketing side versus LinkedIn prospecting side, you should always consider these factors, because once you start off on one route, you've already invested the time, the effort, the tools, etc., especially if you're going with email marketing. So there's some complexities to that. There's some constraints to that, the spamming issues, the health issues of the domains and sender IDs, the infrastructure setup, the team required. All of that is a considerable effort and a strategic decision that you should carefully take. Hopefully this video is helpful. And if you have any question, feel free to reach out. If you're interested in exploring further, I've created a whole community on School where I actually go step by step, setting up everything on the email marketing and LinkedIn prospecting side. And I can share the tips and tricks, the processes that get you the results that you're looking for. Happy to share that in that specific group. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.